Welcome to this highlights only race recap. Somehow I've qualified P1. This was the fastest lap I've ever done, and fortunately I did it during quali. I usually don't try to qualify, but this time I decided to qualify. Turn 1, always frightening and nerve-wracking, but I'm gonna go through here confidently. Not as confidently as I hoped, because the cold tires do scare me. If you know of any resources I can use to practice on cold tires more, do let me know, because as you can see, I definitely need it. 4 cars will overtake me because of my nervousness with the cold tires in the next 2-3 turns. 2 cars have gone by, and there comes another one. This compromises my entry into the turn here. That compromises my exit, and the cold tires are just completely throwing me off. And another car goes by, and then there goes the next one. Alright, 4 cars have overtaken me. We're currently in P5, maybe in the bottom of this hairpin I can do something. Nope. Now the goal is to stay with the cars ahead and not let anyone else overtake me while we pull away from the cars behind. Another lap, another chance to overtake the cars ahead of us. Fortunately on this straight we can still see all the other cars in front of us. All 4 cars are still within sight, so it's good news, considering that we were able to qualify faster than them. Hopefully if they make a mistake in the right spots off the track, we are going to be able to overtake them. Lap 2, P5. Dropped all the way from P1 to P5. Now the tires are getting a little bit warmer, going through these turns a little bit better. Still not quite optimal, still not the best I can do, but at least we are staying with the cars ahead. Aggressively taking this curb before the hairpin and braking late, getting closer to the cars ahead and trying to cut in as much as possible to close the distance to these 4 cars ahead and making sure I can stay with them. Overshooting the aggressively taken curb here. I don't think I'm supposed to take the curb as much on that entry, and I'm trying to avoid the curbs here because they do seem to unsettle the cars. I've decided to put a bit more pressure on the cars up front, and I'm trying to put the car in a straight line as quickly as possible, staying behind the green car, going into its draft, and trying to make my way closer and closer. The only move I have is to poke my nose in and pretend I'm going to make a lunge, but I quickly move back onto the racing line. Braking a little bit later, and that was too much. I did not apply the brake pressure correctly. I overshot, and I've fallen further behind. Still something to work on. Notice how the green car takes a different line through that turn than I am. They're turning in later, taking the curb differently. Which way is correct? They seem to have kept the distance to me the same as it was before, so I'm not sure which way is faster or not. Let me know in the comments if you know which line is better on this last turn here as well. Another lap, another try. We're still behind that green car. We're still in P5. We can still see all the cars ahead of us, so there's still hope. The red car is closing in though. Another consistent lap, and I'll see you at the beginning of the next one. I'm still trying to figure out which line through that last turn is faster, mine or the green car ahead. Trying to also use as much of the road as possible. Lap 5 and still P5. Consistency really is the name of the game here. I'm hitting my braking points consistently. I'm not making any mistakes. The cars ahead are not making any mistakes. So I'll see you when something is going to happen. We've now jumped ahead several laps. We're in lap 8. We're still P5. We've got a red car in front of us. This is new and strange. It used to be a green car, but the red car is a back marker. They're going to do the right thing, which is awesome. Staying predictable on the racing line, lifting off the throttle a little bit and letting us go past and figuring out how to go past them while they're staying on the racing line. Very predictable. I love it. I used to make the mistake of trying to go out of the way of cars, but I think staying predictable on the racing line and letting faster cars figure it out is the right way to do it. And this worked out really well, so thanks to the red car for letting us go by in this smooth way. Now, we've jumped ahead several laps, and as it were so ironic, the week I decided to also include race recap highlights instead of full race recaps only is one of those more boring races where not much is happening. At least I found it was exciting because I get to practice driving in a race and consistently hitting my braking points. Now, the other thing is the car behind us. There was a red car behind us and the back marker. We were able to overtake the back marker on the straight, on the middle of the straight, which was very lucky for us. The car that was catching up to us slowly did not get so lucky, so they had to wait until they get to the end of the section that was very full of curves and turns. So now lap 9 coming up, and we're still in P5. We're now coming up to the finish line. Again, very ironic. I find it very ironic that the week I decided to make race recap highlights videos is one of the races where it's quite consistent. Regardless, if you like to follow along my journey through iRacing as I get better at iRacing and at making YouTube videos, do click that like and subscribe button to follow along. It really helps out the channel and I appreciate it and I'd love to have you on board. Thanks very much everyone. Have a good day. Bye bye.